This Faceless YouTube channel made $2,147 last month. It runs on Sora 2, the new AI video generator, and it costs just $49 to get started. If you've been watching AI videos but still don't know where to begin, this is for you. In the next 12 minutes, I'm giving you the entire playbook. No hype. We'll cover the real costs, the simple script formula that works, and the critical mistake that cost me nearly $1,000, so you can avoid it. Let's start with the most important part, the one thing that makes or breaks your video before you even open the AI. Most Sora prompts fail because they are just descriptions. The algorithm doesn't want a description, it rewards stories. So you need to use this simple framework: character, action, and emotion. Don't just write, "a knight fighting a dragon." That gets you generic, boring footage. Instead, write this: a terrified young knight, that's the character, raising a broken sword against a massive shadowy dragon, that's the action, to protect the last glowing dragon egg, that's the emotion. See the difference? That one sentence is a complete story. It's the foundation for creating videos people actually feel something for and want to keep watching. Now, that prompt structure is your starting point. But let's get practical. Here are the 3 things you need to do next to turn that prompt into a video. First is your video generation. Never generate just one clip. Always ask Sora 2 for 3 variations of the same prompt. It costs you nothing extra, but it makes all the difference. You'll usually get one clip that's okay, one that's a little strange, and one that has that single perfect shot you need. For that night video, the first 2 clips were fine. But the third one? The dragon's shadow moved across the wall in a way that created actual suspense. That's the shot you keep. This simple step instantly takes your video quality from average to outstanding. Second, the voiceover. You do not need a professional microphone or a radio voice, you just need a voice that sounds human. I use an AI tool called 11 Labs. For $5 a month, you can clone your own voice or use one of their pre-made ones that sounds incredibly realistic. It's not robotic, it has inflection, it has tone. This completely removes the fear of speaking on camera and saves you hours of recording. The script for a 10-minute video can be voiced perfectly in less than 3 minutes. Third, the music. Please, do not just upload a silent video, it feels broken and unprofessional. Most people think they need expensive subscriptions like Artlist or Epidemic Sound. You don't. Go to a site called Pixabay Music. It's completely free. You can find thousands of cinematic tracks that are royalty-free for YouTube. Just find a track that matches the emotion part of your prompt. For the night video, I searched dramatic suspense. The first result was perfect. It took me less than a minute. Okay, you have your clip, your voiceover, and your music. You've spent a total of $5. But here is the critical part, the step where almost everyone fails. You can have the perfect ingredients, but if you combine them wrong, your viewer retention will be 0. The secret isn't just what you make, it's how you pace it. And the simple editing formula I use takes less than an hour, and it's the main reason that night video held viewers for over 6 minutes. I'm going to show you exactly how it works. Alright, let's break down the editing. This is where 99% of faceless channels go wrong. They generate a beautiful Sora clip, add a robot voice, upload it, and then they wonder why they only got 47 views. The problem isn't the AI, it's the pacing. The solution is a simple formula I call the tension arc, and you don't need to be a professional editor to use it. You just need to understand suspense. I use a free tool called CapCut. You can use any editor you want, the tool doesn't matter. The method is what counts. First, you import your 3 assets: the Sora clip, the 11 Labs voiceover, and your free music from Pixabay. Most people just stack them. They put the video on top, the voice in the middle, and the music on the bottom. Then they hit export. This is a recipe for a 20% retention rate, which is terrible. Instead, you do this. First, listen to your voiceover without looking at the video. Just listen. Find the moments of emphasis, the pauses, the emotional shifts in the story. Place a marker at each one. For the night video, I marked the words terrified, broken sword, and last dragon egg. These are your story beats. Now you match your video cuts to those markers. Don't just let the clip play out. Every 3 to 5 seconds, you need to change something visually. A simple zoom in on the knight's face when the voiceover says terrified. A quick cut to a different angle of the clip if you have one. Or even just adding a subtle sound effect. A low rumble, the sound of wind, anything to reset the viewer's brain. You are creating a visual rhythm that matches the story's emotional rhythm. And here's the part where you need to realize you can do this. This isn't about knowing complex software, it's about storytelling. If you can tell a friend a story and raise your voice for the exciting parts, you can do this. You're just using cuts and zooms instead of your hands. It's that simple. This process for a 10-minute video doesn't take days. It takes about 45 minutes once you get the hang of it. And that 45 minutes is the difference between making $20 a month and $2,000 a month. So let's talk about that number, $2,147. Where did it actually come from? It wasn't magic, it was simple math. The channel got 248,000 views last month. The YouTube ad revenue on that was $1,912. That's a $7.69 RPM. RPM just means the amount of money you make for every 1,000 views. The average on YouTube is around $3 to $5. Why was this one higher? Because the average watch time was 6 minutes and 14 seconds on a 10-minute video. That's a 62% average view duration. The YouTube algorithm sees that high retention and pushes the video to more people, which means more ad revenue. The remaining $234 came from a single affiliate link in the description for a fantasy-themed board game. That's it. No secret funnels, no complicated business model, just good retention from good storytelling. Now, to get that retention, you need to master the second layer of audio, sound design. Your music sets the mood, but your sound effects create the reality. This is a step almost everyone skips, and it's a huge opportunity. Go to freesound.org, it's another amazing free resource. Search for simple things: wind, metal clang, fire crackle, subtle whoosh. In your editor, you layer these tiny sounds under the video. When the knight raises his sword, add a subtle swoosh sound. When the dragon's shadow appears, add a low bass rumble. These sounds are almost subliminal. The viewer doesn't consciously notice them, but their brain does. It makes the world feel real. It pulls them deeper into the story. Watch this clip without the sound effects. Now, watch it with them. It's a completely different experience. That difference is worth thousands of dollars in extra watch time. But here's the single biggest mistake I made, the one that cost me 3 weeks of zero progress and wasted money. I was generating one perfect 60-second clip from Sora 2, and I was trying to stretch that single clip across a 3-minute story. It was impossible. The video was boring because I could never cut away to a new angle. The solution is what I call multi-angle generation. This is the part most tutorials skip. Never generate just one clip. For the night story, I didn't just use one prompt, I used 4. Prompt 1 was our main shot, a terrified young knight raising a broken sword. Prompt 2 was the emotional shot, extreme close-up on the knight's determined eyes. Prompt 3 gave us scale, wide shot of a massive cave, a lone knight facing a dragon's shadow. And prompt 4 was the story detail, a glowing dragon egg pulsing with soft light resting on a stone pedestal. Now, in the editor, you have 4 different camera angles. You can cut from the main shot to the close-up when the narrator describes his fear. You can cut to the wide shot to show how hopeless the situation is. This is how you create a dynamic scene that holds attention. It costs you no extra money in Sora, just a few extra minutes of generation time. And it completely unlocks your ability to edit like a real filmmaker, even as a beginner. This brings us to the most important part of your video, the first 8 seconds. You cannot build up to the action, you have to start with it. When you get your main clip from Sora, find the most dramatic moment. The dragon roaring, the sword swinging, whatever it is. That's the first thing people must see. You can tell the backstory after you've hooked them, but you have to earn their attention first. Front load the drama. Let me show you this on another channel. This one is in the sci-fi niche. The concept was a lone botanist on Mars discovering a strange glowing plant. That channel made $628 in its first month. The first video got over 80,000 views, and it used the exact same system. I used multi-angle generation. 1. The main shot of an astronaut in a biodome looking at a glowing plant. 2. The close-up of the astronaut's face reflected in their helmet, eyes wide with awe. 3. The detail shot, a time-lapse of the alien plant slowly unfurling. The first 8 seconds of the video, the shot of the plant unfurling. It creates immediate mystery. Then, the editing follows the tension arc. A cut to the astronaut's face as the voiceover describes the discovery. Sound effects of the biodome's humming machinery, and a subtle magical chime for the plant. It's the same formula, just with a different story. This proves the system is repeatable. I know this can feel like a lot of steps when you hear it all at once, but let's zoom out. It's actually just a simple 3-part workflow. 1. You write a story-based prompt and use multi-angle generation to get 4 or 5 different clips. 2. You record a human-sounding voiceover with a tool like 11 Labs for $5. 3. You combine them in a free editor like CapCut using the tension arc, focusing on cuts every few seconds and adding simple sound effects. That's the entire technical process. You don't need to be an AI genius. You don't need to be a Hollywood editor. You just need a system to follow. And now you have one. But this whole workflow is completely useless if you apply it to the wrong topic. You could make the best video in the world about underwater basket weaving, and you will still get no views. The niche you choose is more important than your editing skills. It is the foundation for everything. And right now, there are 3 specific niches that are almost completely untapped for Sora 2 Faceless channels, where the audience is desperate for content. But before I give you those niches, we need to talk about the landmines. Because applying this system to a great niche can still fail if you make one of these 3 common mistakes. This is the part that gets left out of most tutorials, and it's the difference between a channel that lasts and one that burns out after a month. The first mistake is chasing perfection. I've seen people spend an entire day trying to generate the single perfect Sora clip. That's a waste of your most valuable resource, your time. Remember the multi-angle technique. It is always better to have 4 good clips than 1 perfect one. Your editing is what creates the magic, not the raw generation. Get your assets and move on. Done is better than perfect. The second mistake is inconsistent storytelling. Your channel needs to feel like a consistent world. If you make an epic fantasy video one week and a quiet sci-fi story the next, you're not building an audience, you're confusing it. The algorithm won't know who to show your videos to. Pick a lane. Become the epic fantasy stories channel or the mysterious sci-fi channel. Consistency builds a loyal viewership that comes back for every video. But the biggest mistake, the one that cost me my first $1,000 in wasted effort, was choosing the wrong voice. I launched a historical channel telling stories from ancient Rome. I thought it needed a deep, epic movie trailer voice, so I paid a voice actor $150 per script, and the first 3 videos completely flopped. The retention was horrible. Look at these analytics. A 22% average view duration. People were clicking away in the first minute. I was about to quit. I thought the idea was a failure. But then I tried one last thing. I used my own voice, cloned with 11 Labs for $5. It wasn't epic. It was just a normal guy telling a story he found interesting. The very next video I uploaded got 100,000 views in a week. The retention jumped from 22% to 58%. The RPM went from a pathetic $2 to over $7. And then I read a comment that made it all make sense. Someone wrote, "It feels like my favorite history professor telling me a story." That's the lesson. The voice needs to be authentic to the stories you're telling. You don't need to be a voice actor. In fact, it might even be holding you back. So how do you scale this once you find what works? You don't have to grind 12 hours a day. You build a system. First, create a content battery. Spend 1 full day just generating Sora assets. Brainstorm 4 video ideas and use the multi-angle technique for all of them. Now you have a bank of clips ready for the whole month. You've separated the creative work from the production work, which prevents burnout. Second, use the 80-20 rule on your analytics. Once you have a video that works, don't guess why it worked. Look at the data. What was the topic? What was the title structure? The thumbnail style? Make your next 4 videos 80% similar to that winning formula. Double down on what's proven to work. This isn't about being a creative genius every single time. It's about building a reliable system that produces content your audience loves. Remember how this all started? With a channel that made over $2,000 from a $49 investment? That number isn't a lottery ticket. It's the result of a simple, repeatable system. And the entire process, from the video generation to the editing to the final income, begins with one single sentence. So here is your first and most important step. Forget about Sora for a minute. Forget about editing software. Open a simple notepad on your computer right now and just write one prompt using the framework we covered: character, action, and emotion. That's it. That single sentence is the first real step. It's the foundation for everything else. A year from now, you could be making an extra $3,000 a month from a channel like this, or you could still be watching videos wondering where to start. The only difference is taking that first small step. This isn't about becoming a tech expert. It's about learning to tell a story that AI can understand. You can absolutely do that. If this video gave you the clarity you've been looking for, subscribe. Every single week I break down a new practical AI hustle just like this one. No hype, just actionable strategies to help you build a real income. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.